Hi, Michael Fry, President and CEO of Deepwater Subsea. In this episode of The Daily Grind, I talk about how research shows you only get one chance to make a first impression, but you might not ever get another one if you make a bad last one. Let's get into the show. So research has shown I got 7 seconds to make a quality first impression with you. After 7 seconds, you've already started to make your determination of what you think from the appearance, the message, and everything that goes into these videos and goes into the people that you meet for the first time. What I want to talk about in this daily grind, though, is what do you need to do to maximize that first 7 seconds? And the reason I want to talk about it is there's a lot of people who are looking to get back in the industry to get jobs. There are people who are going out to get interviews to move up. Hell, you might be looking to move to a different company. If you only get 7 seconds to make a first impression, what are things that you need to think about? So tip number 1, it's all about appearance. If you don't open your mouth and all I do is see you from across the room, what is that first thing that I'm thinking about? Are you clean shaven? Are you, male, female? Are you well groomed? Do you look professional? How's your attire? Are your shoes polished? And these are little things. And it depends on where you're at in an organization and the type of positions that you're actually applying for. When I first got out of the Navy going into oil and gas, I showed up for my very first job interview in a blue pinstripe suit, clean shaven, high and tight haircut. And I sat down in the waiting room next to a guy in bib overalls with a dip cup, scruffy beard. And I thought to myself, all right, this isn't what I was prepped to be ready for. So you have to understand what is the position that you're applying for and what is the kind of the dress code that you would expect for it. Again, the thing that's important is if you don't get the opportunity to say anything, if you're just sitting, you see commercials all the time with guys sitting in a waiting room and they walk out and they just look and they pick somebody. What is that impression that you're getting that you're putting out to a potential employer? I've heard stories about back in the 70s and 80s in oil and gas, guys would come off the chopper and the tool pusher would be sitting on the handrail and go, nope, 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 nope. That first impression, you're not even on the rig yet, really, and they're already telling you to get back on the chopper and go back because his first impression of you was you're not going to make it and you're not somebody I want out here on the rig. So again, tip number 1. What's the attire? What's that professionalism that you're giving off? Do you look like somebody that they want to have be on the team? All right, number 2, what's the attitude that you have? When you go in to meet somebody for the first time, are you positive? Are you negative? Are you an optimist? Are you a pessimist? Kind of the same, positive, negative, optimist, pessimist. But my point is, when you get the opportunity to open your mouth for the first time, what is that message that you're giving off? What is that verbal communication that you have? Do you have verbal communication skills? You might actually have to go work on some of those with a professional coach. There's a lot of people who get very nervous in interviews. There's a lot of people who get very nervous when you put a camera in front of them. So think about that. You look good. Do you sound good? What is the message now that you get the opportunity to talk? These are some things that you should think about when it comes to, making that first impression. All right, number 3. What are your nonverbal communications that you're giving off? If you're having dialogue with somebody, are you looking at your phone? There's nothing that drives me more crazy than someone saying, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? And it's like, or me saying, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? And they're like, yeah. And the next thing you know, they're looking down at their phone, they're texting, they're checking their emails. And it's like, if you're busy, I can come back. Oh, no, I'm not busy. What do you need? What I need is 2 minutes of your time, 100% of your time, so we can get this taken care of and we can move in a different direction. What are the nonverbals that you're giving off when you're having a conversation? Do you sit up straight? Do you lean forward? Do you give quality eye contact? Do you raise your eyebrows? Are you engaging with the individual that you're talking to? There's a lot of people who get very nervous when it comes to having, dialogue with a stranger, and they'll look down and they'll kind of look away, and it's like, look, I want to know the confidence that you have in yourself. I have a 20-year-old daughter, and when teenage boys, when she started dating, used to show up at the house. Yeah, I'm 6'3", 300 pounds, but it's like, look me in the eye and tell me that you want to date my daughter. If you can't look me in the face, you can't shake my hand, you can't show me that you're someone I can have confidence with, I want you out of my house and you're not going on a date. So again, How do you look? How do you sound? And what are the nonverbals that you're giving off during that conversation? Little things. Do you sit like this? Are you defensive? Are you very guarded? Are you sitting up straight? Do you lean forward from time to time? No, you know what? I fully agree with you. These are things that you need to think about. Because again, we're past the 7 seconds now, but what's starting to happen is now people are really starting to make more decisions about you, and you're starting to gain more quality and the equity in yourself than you would be, just sitting back trying to see how the conversation's going to go. Because a lot of things that go into recruitment is, how was their nonverbals? Are you somebody who, for me, I say this a lot, are you somebody that I would put my logo on your chest? Can I have you walk into a client's office and be confident that you can carry the professionalism that we need to represent the Deepwater Subsea brand? Something to think about when it comes to, that first impression. You only get 7 seconds. All right, real quick. So you've made a great first impression. You're in the workforce, or you're a consultant working for one of your clients. It's not about that first impression all the time. It's more about the last impression. What is the quality of work that you did while you're working for somebody? You might have done an amazing job for 360 days, and then all of a sudden at the end, you knew that you were getting ready to be let go. And now your quality of work starts tanking. I was on a rig in the Gulf of Mexico here about 4 months ago, and their contract got cut. And the guys knew that they had 2 weeks left and they were going to lose their jobs. And I can have empathy for where they were coming from, but their attitudes went to shit really fast. And unfortunately, for me, it was like, guys, you still have a job for 2 weeks. And it was like, yeah, but I know after 2 weeks, I'm not going to have one, so I don't care. They would literally come out on tower and just sit there and be like, I'm not doing nothing. What are you going to do, fire me? I'm already going to be let go. My point to them was, you never know what opportunity is going to come down the pipeline from this company or maybe from one of the service companies who are out here on the rig. Guys who would work 100% all the way to the end were looked at completely different from guys who just showed up on tower for 12 hours and were like, screw this, I'm not doing nothing. So what is that last impression that you leave with an employer? I've known guys who I've known my entire career who at the very end just basically had an F-it attitude, and now they can't get jobs. They can't get jobs because the last thing that those people remember is that you had a shitty attitude. And unfortunately for them, you can't change that because that is what I remember. And so it's funny to think about it. So much focus, if you go online and look, first impression, first impression, first impression, it's the last impression that's going to get you back through the door. So if you're thinking about making a move, if you're thinking about leaving a company, if you're thinking about just going off and doing your own thing, what is that last impression that you leave with people? What is that last impression that you leave with your customers? If you're doing quality work each and every day, there's going to be times in a downturn market where your customer is just going to say, hey, look, I have to let you go. Hey, I fully understand. It's part of business. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you. I appreciate everything that you've done for us. If you ever need us again, please let us know. It's all about giving and not trying to take. Make the deposit and not the withdrawal. So in the end, 2 things, 7 seconds to make a first impression. How do you look? How do you sound? How are your nonverbals? And after you get in the door, think about that last impression, because it's going to carry over much more than what you did for me in the past. It's what did you do for me today? And if what you did for me today was be a pain in the ass, you're not going to have another chance to go back to work. And when people start calling around, checking referrals, it's going to be, hey, do you know such and such? Oh, no, I know such and such. You don't want to hire him. Why is that? Because when we were getting ready to transition, he was one that just sat on his ass and didn't do anything. And then you find yourself not getting a job, not getting a job, not getting a job. Something to think about.